If you like this video, please press the subscribe button to subscribe to this channel, and also give it a thumbs up. Despite being claimed as science, there is a lot of propaganda used in pushing the Big Bang to Man evolutionary view of origins. This can include making evidence look better than it really is, making evidence look more favorable to evolutionary models than it really is, applying labels that are more favorable to evolutionary models. It is the tendency to not include evidence contrary to evolutionary models. Propaganda is defined as information, ideas, opinions, or images, often only giving one part of an argument, that are broadcast, published, or in some other way spread with the intention of influencing people's opinions. It frequently invokes dishonest presentation of information. A good example of making evidence look better than it really is Piltdown Man and Nebraska Man. The fact that they were both eventually proven false shows neither one was sufficient to justify the claims made about them. Piltdown Man was a skull cap and a partial jawbone that could not even be demonstrated to belong to the same individual, let alone the way they were depicted. It was even worse for Nebraska Man, which was based solely on a tooth that turned out to belong to an extinct pig. The problem is that they still do this kind of stuff today, such that most so-called transitional forms are also fragmented. Tiktaalik is a good example because large portions of it are missing. It is quite common for so-called transitional forms to be fragmented, but evolutionary propaganda tends to ignore this. They tend to show what they think the animals looked like, rather than the actual fossil evidence. When the actual fossils are considered, it looks way less like a transition occurred, because they are often incomplete. In the case of Tiktaalik, a more recent find of older tetrapod tracks excludes it as a truly transitional form because land animals already existed. A good example for making evidence look more favorable to evolutionary models than it really is the so-called wheel evolutionary series. Not only is it actually presented as a nice sequence, despite all of them officially being side branches, another factor is that they generally ignore the actual size difference between the land animals and the whales being depicted. Another good example is the claim that humans share 98% of our DNA with chimpanzees. This is the best possible picture because it includes only substitutions and easily aligned sections. It ignores insertions and deletions as well as parts that cannot be aligned. Adding these at best results in about an 80% similarity. Consequently, this is a case of engaging in pro-evolutionary propaganda because it is painting a picture better than reality. They also apply labels that are more favorable to evolutionary models. For example, they have officially moved humans into the same family as apes. Furthermore, they have stopped claiming that humans have evolved from apes, but that we are apes. They are also now claiming that birds aren't just descended from dinosaurs, but that they are indeed living dinosaurs. All of these are examples of using labeling to push universal common descent evolution by propaganda. Finally, there is a tendency to completely ignore any evidence that goes against evolutionary models. This has been the case for a long time. However, a recent example with Tiktaalik is the discovery of tetrapod tracks that date by their own system as older than Tiktaalik. This is, of course, just one example of many that can be given. The simple fact of the matter is, when something does not fit evolution or their chronologies, every effort is made to explain them away, and then any response is actually ignored. The biggest example of this is ignoring all of the problems with abiogenesis under the blind faith that the problems will one day be solved. So evolutionists use propaganda to push not just universal common descent evolution, but the entire Big Bang to Man story. Children are subject to it in schools and any relevant scientific media that they are exposed to. I have encountered a number of people whose views on evolution are clearly not based on any facts they were actually given, but on this type of propaganda.